Welcome back to Julie's Village. I'm glad you're here. This episode is going to start a series of videos addressing academic skills and especially those very basic academic skills, helping you to know what to watch for to make sure that they are progressing the way that they should, and giving some ideas for how to help if you have any areas of concern. I'm going to start with reading, and this is the most basic start of reading, the very, very beginning. So, very young children, or very just that they're just starting to notice books and starting to notice reading and print around them. So, this very first part of reading is called concepts of print, and that is just this idea of written language, that it's around us and that it's used to convey meaning. But at the very beginning, some of the things that you're going to look for are does your child handle books? When children are very small, when they're just babies and we start handing them books, usually they're those cloth books or those sturdier cardboard or some kind of plastic book, and a child grabs it, they hold it in any direction, they're turning multiple pages. So, one of the first things that you want to do is help them to understand a book and how it works. So, one of the first things you're going to look for is, does your child hold a book correctly? And when they grab it, are they holding it backwards or upside down, sideways? Do they hold it so that they are looking at the cover? Do they pick it up and look at the cover with it right side up and know that that is where they need to start a book? The next thing that you're going to look at is, how do they turn pages? Is it a chunk of pages at a time? Is it one at a time? Are they consistently going from the front of the book to the back of the book? These are very basic things, but when you have a child maybe with some kind of cognitive delay, or if you have a child approaching kindergarten and you want to make sure that they are ready, these are some of the things that at this stage, that's what you would be looking for. So the way that you address this is by consistently reading with them, consistently looking at books with them. And maybe at first reading is just looking at pictures, but helping them to know when you hand them the book, you hand them the book the correct way. When you are picking up a book to read it in front of them, you're holding it in front of them, giving them a minute to look at it, even pointing at the title. You can even name the title. This is the title of this book. You might talk about the author. Those are a little bit more advanced things, but again, they're basic skills. So if you have a preschooler or a child getting ready to start kindergarten and you're looking at these things, it's an appropriate age to start having those conversations about a title, the author. You might even talk about the spine of the book and the fact that we can find the title there. You can talk about the fact that there is a cover of a book. All of those things are part of concepts of print. The next part, again, is that opening and flipping through the pages. There is a fine motor component to that as well. So you're assessing a couple of things there, their understanding of a book and also their fine motor ability to turn those pages. So when they open the book, they'll see another page with the title on it. And the next thing that we're looking for, again, is, are they turning one page at a time? Do they understand that concept? Then you're going to be looking at directionality of reading. Do they understand that you read from top to bottom and left to right? And do they understand that the story continues on to the next page? That if you turn 3 or 4 pages at once, that the story is going to be in a different spot. It's not going to continue just one part to the other. So with all of these concepts of print, and sorry, there's one more basic part here, and that is that letters make words and words make these sentences that create meaning. They create stories on and the parts of the page. So all of these things you can address again by the way that you hand the book, the way that you model reading. It can be pretty easy to help teach directionality just by having them see you flip the pages in front of them, maybe asking them to turn a page and doing some kind of correction. If they turn multiple pages, saying, oh no, we skipped a part, let's go back and see what else happens. As you turn the page then and start reading the story, you can start by pointing to the words as you're reading. You can do a little bit of choppy to emphasize if you want to. For instance, starting this one, I went to sleep, and helping them to see that you're pointing word for word as you're saying it. Or you can just, again, at the very beginning, the very basics, and when you're just reading a story for fun, just reading it smoothly but dragging your finger along helps them to see top to bottom, left to right, and doing that multiple times on multiple stories helps to teach that concept. The idea that words are made up of letters and that sentences and stories are made up of words. You do that by that choppy reading if you want to for the words and make a story. For teaching letters, you can show maybe oftentimes we start with a child's name to introduce print and the idea of print, helping them to see their name written out. So you might start by just pointing out letters that are in their name that they see, especially that first letter in their name. As you're reading, you might pause and say, I see letter J, like in Julie. It's right there. Your name has a J too. And it starts that idea of these words have letters. If your child is familiar with any other letters, if you're doing any activities, if they're seeing letters around them, that again can help them to understand that words are made up of these letters. Again, very, very basic. This is just the very start of the idea of reading and concepts of print, looking specifically at a book. You can use this when all things around you, looking at menus at restaurants. You might use it for if you're driving in the community and you see signs that have certain letters or certain words, pointing those out. That also helps children to start to understand that words label things. You might do that with groceries or their favorite food items. You can start pointing out the name of the food item written on the label or the brand. If they're talking about Cheerios, you can point out that the box of cereal has the word Cheerios written on it. That starts to teach them that these words have meaning, these written words have meaning, that they label things and help us to understand and communicate ideas. If you have any other thoughts on concepts of print or any questions, I invite you to leave those in the comments. If you have any questions or about other topics or suggestions for topics or people that you would like to see interviewed in future episodes, I invite you to leave those in the comments as well. If this information was helpful for you, I invite you to like, share, subscribe. That helps make this information more accessible to others who might need it. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your village.